Well, hello, everyone. It is March 8th, 2025. Let's see what we've got going here. Doing our 12 p.m. broadcast. Let's see here. We've got here. Oh, we got Alex here. Great. Okay, they got Alex coming on.
Hello.
Well, hello there.
You need to flip your camera.
Oh, yeah.
You got something down the edge there.
Something down the edge? What do I have down the edge? Oh, wait a minute. There we go. How's that?
Hey, perfect.
Okay. Yeah,
What's up, dude?
the duct tape was in the way.
Damn it.
Exactly. Love the Punisher. Very apropos for what's going on right now.
I'm punishing the whales.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, my word. Let's see. I don't know if we've got anybody else here. If you see them, will you bring them on?
I will watch, sir. You go ahead and say hello to everybody, and then when we get everybody on, we'll jump into the daily dispatch.
Okay. All righty. So we have Chris Romano is here. Hi, Chris. Sheila is here. Valerie James is here. We have Share Baby 29, a subscriber is here. Wendy is here. Yeah, Wendy, we decided we're doing a couple of, oh, wait a second. What is going on here? We're doing a couple of noontime broadcasts, Tuesday and Thursday this week, just to kind of see how it plays out. Some people can't make it in the mornings and so on and so forth. So we are giving it a whirl at noon Pacific time today. Boy, that little thing is still there, huh? There we go. Okay. I think that's better now. All righty. So we have our Jeff Coat is here. Hey, our Jeff Coat. Tire Man is here from Surfside Beach. Let's see. We have Medview is here as well. So, well, hello, James.
Present. Yes, sir. I'm here.
Well, hello, Adam.
Greetings, guys.
Greetings and salutations.
So, Alex, tell me, what do you see on the board this morning, or this afternoon, I should say?
I'm trying to pull up Dave. Give me just a second here. What do I see on the board? Let's see. There we go. Got Dave. Well, Bitcoin is around 77,000 XRP at $1.85.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the markets, they rallied early but have lost most of the gains, but are still positive. S&P is only down 19. The Dow is up 43. NASDAQ, though, is down 188. Gold still above $3,000 an ounce, and it's all Trump's fault because he's going to impose more tariffs on China.
Exactly. Boy, you know, they've got the one playbook, and they are just running it every day, aren't they? Well, hello, Jan.
If I had $1 for every time somebody bitched about Trump playing golf, I would finance this show. We'd all be millionaires.
Exactly. Hey, Dave.
Hey, guys.
How goes it over there in Iowa?
Beautiful day. Getting equipment ready to rock and roll maybe by the weekend.
Oh, wow. Well, you guys are throttling up, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's time.
All right. So let's see. We have Wendy is here. Thank you for the roses, Wendy. And for the heart me, or the finger me, I guess I should say. So, Jen, what's going on with you today? Oh, did we lose Jen? Adam, what about you?
Oh, I'm out on the road with the wife today, so we're out running around. I'm running shotgun.
Oh, there you go. Jen, what about you? What's going on?
It was a crazy day for me.
Was it?
Yeah, I was in the wonderful Scranton. It was just so wonderful. I'm always like going from like 8 o'clock. Like as soon as I drop my kids off, I'm like off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, don't be laughing. I look like that gremlin.
No, I'm not laughing at all. I'm empathizing. I have 3 children myself. They're grown now, but I get it. Believe me.
Yes.
All right. So let's see. All right, Alex, we've given an update on. Oh, what's crude oil at today, Alex?
Oh, $59 a barrel.
Wow. Wow.
And vault.fbi.gov dropped an O.J. Simpson file.
Oh, wow. Really? Jeez. What's that all about, I wonder?
There's some blood work in there. There's some shoe imprint patterning. Interesting stuff. I'm a nerd.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right, James. So what do we got going on the military movement today?
Well, we talked about this the other day about there's a little kind of a conflict, and I had to go study it this morning between President Trump and Pete Hegseth. They talked about adding $1 trillion to our budget for this year, and Pete was talking the other day about cutting a lot of people, and I guess that the amount of people that they were going to cut only comes up to about 8%. So what they want to spend the money on is a combination of Pentagon nuclear weaponry development and security program. And part of that security program has to do with our Navy with Roadrunner and Coyote systems installed in many of the naval ships for destroyers and battleships. Basically what they are is a repellent to drone activity. So we can attack drones from pretty much any battleship and not really worry about it.
Interesting. Very interesting.
The other part of mass firings that are going on is with President Trump and Pete decided they were going to fire Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield. She's the first president of the War College. The second one was Admiral Lisa Franchetti, and the third one was the Coast Guard Commandant, Admiral Linda Fagan. So what that comes down to is there are no more 4-star females in the military.
Well, and I find it interesting that Chatfield was a senior position in NATO. That leads me to believe that something's going on with NATO that they haven't optically made us aware of yet. How many different military commanders have been relieved of command or resigned in the last several years? Over 200, from the best of my knowledge. That's a big deal.
The three female admirals that they talked about, they cited going back in their programs or any speeches that they were given, they were led to believe that they were woke, all of them.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Because Trump's a misogynist pig. Let's tell the truth, folks.
Right, exactly. Isn't that the narrative? What do you make of that, Adam?
I think what he's doing is he's bringing the military back in line with the country instead of this military-industrial complex. And he's telling NATO, look, you're either going to play ball our way or we ain't playing at all.
Right. I would agree. Jan, what do you think?
Look, I agree with what he just said. No, look, no, honest to God, everything that's going on with like the military and then you got guys that are in playing women's sports and all this stuff that's going on. It's just, it's absolutely a disgrace. It really is. And I think everything that's going on right now and what they're doing is amazing. And
right.
I hope they keep doing it. Keep
Well,
going.
I don't think there's any end in sight. Fortunately, we're going to be putting America back on the right rails. Dave, what are your thoughts?
House cleaning for sure. Trump's got so many moving parts. It's unbelievable the stuff that he's pulling. You know, I can't imagine his checklist every day. Okay, this.
Exactly, and I think we kind of get pigeonholed into, President Trump. He's the tip of the spear, no doubt, but he has a lot of good people around him. The Trump team is amazing, and I think that's why we're seeing this move at light speed. At least that's my opinion on it. So we have
Well, again, it's putting America first, even in the military side of things too, since we are the backbone of the world.
Right. I agree. 100%. Agape Rescues Children is here. Hi, Stacy. We have Christy B from Hayesville, Kansas is here. Christy, thank you for all the roses. That's very sweet. All righty. We have Crypto Dad here. Hey, Crypto Dad. Glad you could make it. And everybody, let us know in the chat what you guys think. We're trying out this new 12 o'clock p.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we're doing the regular 9 a.m.s on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, but just kind of want to get some feedback from you and see what you all think about that. So, having talked about the military leaders that have been dealt with, shall we say, I think that, as James pointed out, we're looking at the largest Department of Defense budget in history, right, James?
Yes, sir.
At $1 trillion,
Closest I think we had was 800 million.
800 billion.
Billion, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I just find it interesting. And it comes at a time when there's all of this hullabaloo about, the tariffs, and we have the stock market going down 3,000, 4,000 points, and then we have it bouncing up 1,000, 1,500 points over one news article. And then when they finally show that was incorrect, it drops back down. I think part of what they're exposing here, in my opinion, is the fugazi stock market. That it's not based on profits anymore. It's based on perception. And I think that's partly what President Trump is trying to highlight here, that this is it's not the stock market that we initially started with years ago. This is a complete hybrid that is being controlled by, or at least was being controlled by, nefarious activities and players. And I think that's what he's highlighting here. What do you think, Alex?
I think that it's a rebirth of what our military is supposed to have been for a very long time.
Right. Jen, what do you think?
I mean, for a person that's not just getting into politics and learning about what's going on, I think that what I've seen and what I've looked at, this has been going on for. Sorry, my mom was calling me.
Oh.
God damn it, Janet. No, I wasn't. It's been going on for a long time, and it's just got to be repaired.
Right. And it looks like that's what we're well underway of. Adam, what are your thoughts?
Again, this is kind of the realigning of the military, so it's brought back into line instead of having two separate ones. I mean, you talk about having $1 trillion budget. What about all the money that's been off book for so long? You've been running a shadow military with it as well. So here it is, you're having to show everybody what's going on and bring it all into line so it's not running two different agendas.
Right.
That's where we're at, cleaning it up from the inside out.
Well, remember when Doge exposed those computers that were just printing money out of thin air and they weren't being accounted for by the Federal Reserve? There's a guy that I follow by the name of Cliff High, and he said that they have discovered a couple more of those computers that are not hooked into the Federal Reserve, that are just dumping cash into the system. And when they shut those off, we're going to see a dramatic difference in terms of the stock market, in terms of the monetary system. And part of me thinks that they are increasing the budgets. President Trump's taking the debt ceilings off. He's causing all these, they're allowing these things to happen. Is it intentional to crash the market? Is it intentional to highlight the nefarious activities that have been going on for quite some time? James, I see you shaking your head. Yes. What do you think?
Oh yeah, they're bringing it out one at a time. I think they're taking their time doing it. We always refer back to Dan Bongino. There's a lot of things happening that you can't see or we can't see,
Mm-hmm.
and there's got to be some patience. When we look back at the Obama administration, the Coast Guard didn't even have enough bullets to allow their soldiers to qualify with the M16 in basic training. That's pretty bad.
Wow.
The Biden administration, they didn't do any favors for the military, and in fact, they installed some people in the military that were previously frowned upon. I think what they cite heavily is if you can't understand what type of person you really are, you shouldn't be in the service.
Right.
And we've got an awful lot of that going on right now, and that's part of what we're fighting.
I think Alex wants to say something. He's leaning forward.
Say it louder, brother.
Yeah.
Say it louder.
Right.
I hear you.
Dave, what are your thoughts?
No, that's exactly right. I mean, obviously with Trump likes to rebuild the military. He did the first administration, and that's what he's doing now. So,
Well,
that's a good place to spend it if you're going to do it.
well, again, it leans into the peace through strength narrative. You know, if you're walking around with a big stick, or I should say, a pew pew, and somebody else has got a big stick, they're going to listen. They're going to pay attention, I would think. What are you laughing about, Jen? Go ahead. You could say it.
Big stick.
Oh.
I'm just here right now.
Uh-huh. I get it. I won't touch that one. So
The thing that he's also doing is he's doing it without publicly disgracing the military. He's doing it from the inside out, and he's doing it in an honorable way, so that it's not, because the military has such a perception, and he doesn't want the public to lose that perception. He understands that there's things that need to be cleaned up, but he doesn't need to do it publicly for a disgrace to tear down either.
yeah, I would agree with that. Dave, what do you think?
No, I agree 100% on
Yeah.
what he said.
We have Amy Ruger here over on YouTube. Welcome, Amy. G Unit, thank you for all the gifts. Hey, John Gwyn's here. John Gwyn's subscriber said drones are pushing our military dominance. Well, if we look at, now correct me if I'm wrong, James, but the new F-47 is flanked by drones, right?
Correct. They're called wingmen.
And now they're not built into the F-47, right? They're a separate unit that gets dispersed. Okay.
Correct.
And have we heard?
I can't tell you what their flight time is. I'm trying to dig into that right now. I'm not really having a lot of success with digging in where they're launched from, but I do believe it's from the same region.
Interesting.
I don't know their flight time, but I do know that they are meant to intercept by self-mutilation. So that means it's a drone is going to be for a drone, or whatever it needs to crash into. It's a fire and forget. It's going to go on a one-way mission, and that's home.
Oh, it's a one-off. I didn't know that.
It is.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Oh, so we've adopted the kamikaze strategy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's not kamikaze if it's autonomous and there's no flight pilot.
Well, that's true. Very good point. Very
That's
good
true.
point.
Canadian government task force that monitors the election interference by foreign countries revealed on Monday that Chinese state-linked social media posts were amplifying messages promoting the unelected leftist Prime Minister Mark Carney.
Ooh, interesting. What do you make of that, Alex?
Are we surprised?
I don't think so, no.
I mean, but elections are safe and secure, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. There's a little.
Let's jump into the Daily Dispatch topics, sir.
All right. So Zero Hedge yesterday came out and said that California failed an audit of federal programs. 66% of COVID unemployment benefits are now in question. 66% in California.
Fucker.
Now, do we just add that on top of the bullet train to nowhere that hasn't been built but is already at $100 billion? Do we add that upon the 60 cents a gallon in extra tax that he's going to be adding to our I just paid $4.25 today, and it's going to be another 60 cents on top of that? I mean, how much before something significant takes place? I don't see California continuing to exist with that guy in charge. What do you make of it, Dave? What do you think?
Well, I was going to tell you to add the $24 billion spent on homeless the last 5 years, and he got
Right.
more homeless than he had before.
Very good point.
I think it's 92,000 in California or something like that.
Very good point.
Well, obviously, it's in my opinion, it's corrupt, and money's going pocketing somewhere.
Right. Right. Exactly. Jen? Because you look like you're a Californian, Jen.
Oh, fuck that. Sorry.
That's
No.
okay.
I'm just spraying. That's even worse. I don't know which one is worse. They're all bad. Fauci, he's the man should be in prison. All right, he shouldn't even be on this planet right now.
Right.
Ship his freaking ass off somewhere. Maybe inject him with some things and put them away somewhere out of his misery. But yeah, I can't vocalize about him because I'll get your live shut off. So
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Well, and apparently that little troll is talking about another airborne disease in the last couple of days. And
Yes.
I mean, are we talking about the Patriots highlighting something, bringing it to top of mind to remind people of what happened in 2020?
Look, I work in healthcare. I have lost so much money. You got to go home. You have to, like, every 20 days you're going home. I said, what the heck is the difference? All the patients have COVID. If I have COVID, why can't I work with the patients? It's
Right.
not cross-contaminating. We're all sick anyway. So why do I have to leave?
Right,
But I never got paid for all of that time that was missed.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
then
yeah.
people had to stand outside windows, and I would let them up, and I even lost 2 jobs because of it. But people are getting sick no matter what. You know, there's the bird flu and this flu and the bug flu, and you know, everything you eat is bad for you. This, that, blah, blah, blah. It's like everything is poison. But this guy, you know, he has unalived so many children, men, women, children of all kinds in all different countries. But yet he's pardoned.
Right.
It doesn't make that make sense because I don't understand it.
You know, from a personal,
Americans have lost so much money, and this man has taken so much money off of people just to make these little concoctions to give them to unalive people. Like it doesn't make sense.
right.
Like, you know, we're not your experiment. How about we use him as our experiment? Let's do that.
Well, you know, speaking from a personal standpoint, my brother, Dr. Mike, God rest his soul, he was taken out by the medical establishment back in 2021. They gave him a drug that they knew caused organ failure. They rebranded it, they renamed it, and they took his life, in my opinion. And that's something that is very, very serious to me. And I am looking forward to the day that these people that have been instrumental in these different protocols are held to accountability. And I think it's coming. And I think it's coming soon. Alex?
There's been multiple comments in here about that accountability. Does anybody this? Does anybody that? But 2 days ago, Dan Bongino, and I'm going to read it verbatim if that's all right.
Sure.
Headed back to DC today after spending a day back home with my wife and daughter. As I dive back into work, I want to reassure you that nothing that is happening here is happening by accident. Because of the sensitivity of what the FBI deals with, both the director and I have circumspect and have to be circumspect in what we make public. Bad guys read this stuff too. Neither one of us came here to play games. Measure us by the results. You will see them. But just because you don't see something happening for this right this second doesn't mean that it isn't happening. I will conclude by stating that it's not every result is going to please everyone. That's just pandering. It's not leadership. Complex problems require diligence and a reform-oriented process to create lasting changes. Or else you simply are putting a bandage on a gushing wound. So everybody that's just hell-bent to see, you know, accountability, they really aren't taking into account how huge this is, right?
Right.
You said it times that it's a hydra and it has many heads, and you take one head off and up pops another one. And I think by putting people in places that they're being put, I think by getting judgments from judges that are coming out and putting them in their place, and the Supreme Court coming out and blocking the reinstatement of what judges. I mean, it's this constant moving target of it's like whack-a-mole. The deep state keeps popping their head up, and we're like whack-a-mole, whack-a-mole, whack-a-mole. So we have to be patient. I think when the game of whack-a-mole is over with, we're all going to have a couple thousand little coupons funds to go trade in at the counter for some prizes. It's coming, folks.
Right. And I think the premise behind that is the Hydra is so deep and so infiltrated and so wide and so the breadth and width of this Hydra has been around for so long. It's going to take time. And like you said, Alex, I believe that there are a lot of things happening behind the scenes that are not being optically presented to the population yet. But that doesn't mean that it's not happening. When did Bongino say that?
2 days ago.
A few days ago.
And he followed it up immediately with a second tweet. And I'll put this out there. He said, "Your comments and criticisms are not only welcomed, but they are very helpful. We work for you, the American people. Your feedback is invaluable. All I ask is that you consider the following feedback to the feedback. When you see something happen and the entire story isn't public and the underlying facts aren't all public, it may appear counterintuitive to our reform agenda. I promise you, this is not an accident. Ask yourself, why would you sign on to something like this otherwise? Is it a desire to be wealthy, famous, connected, or to be a future lobbyist? If that sounds ridiculous, that's because it is. I realized when I signed up that I'd never be able to fully explain some decisions we make due to the legal and ethical constraints. But that's a pill that I agreed to swallow when I swore in. In conclusion, I realize you asking you to trust me is a waste of time. Watch what happens, continue to demand results, be cautious of a narrative, traps. Let time put the puzzle pieces together, and what we are doing will make sense."
Yeah, TK Hurley Girl said it takes time to build the cases. And I think if we have grand juries involved, if this is RICO cases, you cannot sacrifice the cases that haven't been tried yet for the ones that have. You have to keep them under wraps. And if you go to, pacer.gov, how many sealed indictments do we have now, Alex? Will you pull that up as we talk about this?
Let me pull it up 1 second.
It's important to note that, as Dan said, and you're not gonna telegraph your punches. You're not going to allow, because whatever Dan Bongino says is going to hit the mainstream. People are going to hear it. Well, if there are nefarious players in there, he would be telegraphing those punches to those nefarious players. And I think they're too smart to do that. What do you think, Adam?
You cannot telegraph what you're going to do before you do it. You can do it after the fact, but if you're not going to tip your hand. You've played poker. You can sit there and throw the bluff. You can limp in with a minimal ante. You're not gonna tell them what your plans are.
Right.
And there's too many things that are at stake here. So you've got to minimize the collateral damage, and at the same time you have to show the people what's going on.
Right. Exactly. Dave?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Dan is the perfect guy for that position. Just to help along with cash. So that's exciting to see those guys start rolling here.
Right. I think President Trump has assembled a team that is a formidable team. When you have Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, and all the rest of the cabinet, we're going to be seeing some significant changes. And I don't like to date fag and say it's going to happen at this time frame, because none of us know. None of us are part of that other board that we talk about on a regular basis. So when it comes down to dates, who knows? But we can use logical inference. We can use critical thinking and kind of deduce the direction that we're going.
Sealed cases filed for this year alone. For this year alone, folks, 13,408.
Wow. And that brings the total up to over 500,000, right?
That's on another. I'm not going to scroll through the sheet.
No,
my
it's
gosh,
okay.
This thing is massive.
It's a lot. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see.
Hey, Lisa Maria's here. Hey, Lisa, glad you could make it.
There's
Virgo 47's here too. Hey, Virgo.
Field, 366,377. If I'm reading total, here you go. Yeah, you're right. 62,483
Jeez,
cases that are sealed.
that's huge. That's huge. Agape Rescues Children. Stacy said, "Sam, you're a good poker player. You know what he's doing." Well, I think that's it. You've got to keep your cards close to your vest, and I think that's exactly what Trump and the team are doing. That's the way that they're moving. And when we talk about some of the strategy that he uses in terms of the art of the deal, just yesterday, the European Union offered the United States to abolish reciprocal tariffs on industrial goods. Now, last time I heard, well, we'll get to that in a minute, but you got the EU saying, okay, we give, right? How many other countries have said already, okay, we give? Well, I think
Japan's already sending a delegation at this point because he said, "Nope, bring me more," and so now they're having to come over here on bended knee.
right, exactly. And then along those same lines, Treasury Secretary Bessent said maybe 70 countries have approached the U.S. now on trade. And then President Trump came out and said virtually every country wants to negotiate. If I didn't do what I did over the last couple of weeks, you wouldn't have anybody who wants to negotiate. Now they're offering things to us that we would have never thought of asking them for. Now, what does that mean? What do you think, Alex?
I think the deep state's going to fight. It's a scared dog backed into a corner. I mean, with all this happening with tariffs, what comes out from the World Health Organization, but a massive simulation of another pandemic. Like they're not done, folks. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
Well, I mean, even President Trump has said it's going to be bumpy for a while. Now, whether that while is a few days, a few weeks, a few months, or a couple of years, I couldn't tell you. Jen, what do you think about that?
There's a lot of problems, and you just can't fix them overnight. Even though he had signed so many things, there's so many things that need to be fixed, and you need a whole bunch of people to get involved with that.
And you need the right people.
And the right people,
Right.
to proceed on with it. And it's gonna, like you said, it could be years, it could be months, it could be you don't know.
Right.
You just don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Jason Keener said that movement will be made on or around April 20th, in his opinion. Tinker Girl said, I can agree completely. Daddy D, a subscriber, said, if you invested your 401 correctly, you'll be fine. Well, I don't think that the Patriots are going to allow honest, hardworking people to lose their life savings. I don't believe that's part of the plan. And I think that's probably why we're going around this mulberry bush as much as we are, to protect the people that need to be protected. President Trump is not blind to that fact. What do you think, James?
You know, I got to bring this point up because this is troubling. You talked about active cases today, 13,408, and total cases at 562,248. If you gave the consideration of the 562,468 or whatever that number was, 1 hour, it would take 64 years to hear that in court. And if we went with just a half an hour on the 13,408, you're talking 279 days of continuous court. How do we get through that?
Well, I think you have multiple courts running at the same time, I would think. What was that, Alex?
I was going to say that's based off of if it was only one court hearing all the cases, but we have hundreds, if not thousands, of courts and judges in places that these things can be heard. No, it would be impossible for the DOJ, for Pam Bondi to hear all of that herself. But with each court, there is a team of people. I mean, but your point is not lost. I mean, we're going to have to methodically and slowly go through and decide which ones are the ones that need to be brought to light. And I think that bringing them into the light is exactly, we're so close. And I think when Trump comes out and says things like, oh, we found something huge. Quite frankly, what we found is like the most hugest thing ever, and we're gonna release it soon. He does that on purpose because what happens? The roaches are like, oh crap, the light's on. Where do we go? Like they panic and run. They run right into the roach motel.
Right.
They check in, but they don't check out. Right. Like,
Right.
the dude's playing chess, and we just have to be patient because when ego cases start being announced, you think they're scattering now? Holy crap! Just wait, it's coming. It's coming.
Right. And 6U7Y8 just said, he brought up a good point, and he was talking about that little island off of Florida where there has been hundreds of planes flying in and out of there for 3 years, 4 years. So to your point, James, yeah, it would take for one court to have that long, and that was a really good analogy to draw. But how many other things are happening with military tribunals in another place that we're not even aware of? You know,
You almost have to wonder how many, if they're doing that, just to stack the court system so a lot of that stuff never gets heard before somebody dies.
well, and Trump put what, $100 million into Gitmo in his first term?
5 massive buildings and 30,000 more cells. The administration before him was doing what? Trying desperately to close it down.
Right, which multiple presidents tried to, and they were unsuccessful. That tells you something's going on there. And when you talk about this peace through strength and these other countries coming back to the negotiating table, Japan is sending a top team to negotiate, right? I also heard that, what's so funny, Alex?
Virgo 47. I'm just over here ready with my can of Raid for the roaches.
Exactly. But so now we have South Korea at the bargaining table. We have Japan. We have the EU. I mean, all of a sudden now President Trump doesn't seem quite as crazy. Go ahead, Adam.
I was going to say India, to add India to that list, because that's now on the table now too.
Right, exactly. Ron
We have how
Hewitt.
many billion of people over there? 1.2, 1.8, something like that.
Right.
Yep.
Coach said that it will take American people to contact congressmen and senators and tell them what they want. I think there's a lot of truth in that. And I think General Flynn, you know, when he says local action equals national impact, I think that's what he's talking about. Not just senators and congressmen, but school boards and, you know, anything else that falls at state legislatures for the voting, right? I think that's all rolled into that, in my opinion. What do you think, James?
Well, it has to be all bundled up. It's got to be.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say, you know, maybe I'm going to go out here on a limb, and maybe I'm going to go on the little bit of the extreme side here. Look at the countries that are supposed to revalue in the first basket.
What do you mean?
You know, there's those basket of countries, the first set of countries that are supposed to revalue in this whole reset thing. Take a look and see is there a corresponding nature there between those countries and the ones that are coming to the table?
Right. And then on top of all this extra action with the tariffs, President Trump comes out and threatens an additional 50% tariff on China if it does not withdraw its 34% tariff increase. 50%. That's a bold move. What's that, James?
As Alex pointed, or Adam pointed out yesterday, day before, it's been yesterday. I think President Trump is going to irritate China long enough that they will be the last 800-pound gorilla on the bus. I think he's going to make them that mad for that long that once the American economy takes off, they are going to be the last to get on the train.
Right. Coach UMPH said, let them fight the battles with our president to make the USA strong again and have a legit government. I think that's really the root of what we're getting at here, cleaning up the government so that we have a government that's by the people and for the people, representative of we the people. And I think that's the direction he's going, but you can't, you know, it takes time to root out this hydra that's been in place for God only knows how long, right?
Back to Adam's point, China's 1.4 billion people. It's 1,460,000,000
And that's China versus India.
No, India is. Oh, keep streaming. India is 1.463. China is 1.416. So you're talking about two of the largest populations on the planet, right? The next behind that, either one of those two countries is, guess what? The United States at 347 million. And these are statistics from 2025, right? And then you have Indonesia, Pakistan, Nigeria, Brazil, Bangladesh, and then Russia, right? So when you look at these countries and who is immediately stepping forward to go, okay, Trump, we'll play ball. Let's make it even. Let's make it fair, right? It's the countries that will benefit most from stepping forward and playing ball. China's not going to benefit from stepping forward and playing ball immediately. They're going to play hardball. They're going to say, oh, we can afford to do this. But what I want people to really, really, really think about is this. In a situation where we did end up in a conflict with, say, China, what is happening with Greenland and Canada and Trump trying to get mineral deals with Ukraine is because China holds all the cards on that, folks. And if they hold all the cards, and he keeps saying it's a national security situation, if there is a conflict, you think China's just going to keep giving us rare earth minerals that we need to make weapon systems, to make things that we need to make to be able to fight them? No, we're literally standing on the battlefield with our pants around our ankles right now. He has no choice but to do what he's doing.
Right. I would agree. 100% I would agree. Jen, what are your thoughts?
I agree with that 100% because everybody wants America to come and save them and rescue them, but if God forbid something we needed, nobody's coming to help us. They're going to let us drown. They don't care, but they want everything from us.
Right. Right. And as America goes, so goes the world, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Virgo 47, thank you for all the roses. That's very sweet. Let me jump in here real quick, everybody, and give our sponsors a thank. First up, we have, of course, Mike Lindell and MyPillow. They have been with me since the beginning. They are a good American company. Mike Lindell is fighting for the life of America. If you'd like to support him, that company, and this channel, go to mypillow.com and enter in the discount code SAM and get up to 80% off of your purchases. Secondly, we have Neil Naturopathic, the only organic, chemical-free hair care products in the nation that I'm aware of. Dr. Neil is a personal friend of mine. If you go to samshalhoub.com, click on the hair care products button and enter the code SAM20, SAM20, you'll get 20% off your order. And then finally, Dr. Peter Glidden. He is a man among men. If you have questions about your health, if you have questions about what to do, go to samshalhoub.com, click on the button. It'll take you to his website. You can join his website, and it is a plethora of information on how to heal your body naturally. And his new book is out. There's also a button for that on my website. If you hit that button, you'll get 10% off his new book. I think it's like 500 pages or some ridiculous amount. Alex, what's so funny?
Freaking graybeard.
What did he do now? What did he do?
I was trying to hold it in.
He said, or you can buy the Mexican knockoff nacho pillow.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing when I saw that.
There's always one in the crowd, huh?
Always one in the crowd.
Exactly. Let's see here. So we have Nanners here. Thank you for all the roses, Nanner. Thank you, Art Jeffcoat. We have, let's see here. As you all know, I'm trying out this new system with multiple monitors, so sometimes it's a little hard to catch up here. Dana Mackey's here. She said, the MyPillow mattress topper is the best. Well, thank you for the plug, Dana Mackey. It's appreciated. Tranny 2 is here from, and she said something about passports. Virgo 47, I have MyPillows. It fixed my neck problems. I need some more. Well, all you have to do, Virgo 47, is go to mypillow.com, and enter in the discount code SAM. So, all right. Oh, and also too, Alex, I think it's really important that we continue to expose Risk Tool. So will you give a little explanation of what it is and what you provide?
If you own a business and you are not teaching your staff, training them annually on the pitfalls of cybersecurity, risktooltech.com, risktooltech.com. We specialize in helping you keep your staff trained.
Yeah, will you put that website in the chat, please?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Tim Shaw's here. He said, so happy to make another live. Well, we're glad you're here too, Tim. And Jason Coons from Columbus, Nebraska. Wonderful. Glad you could make it, Jason. All right, so let's move over to the state of Idaho. Now, I spent quite a bit of time in Idaho a couple of years ago, Coeur d'Alene specifically, and it is the most patriotic, clean, well-run city that you can imagine. I just love it over there. Well, the Idaho legislature cleared the way for ivermectin to be sold over the counter. Now, Crystal Zaski, one of our subscribers, I don't know if she's in here today, but she said, you know, you can get it already. You just have to go to the horse aisle to get it, which is true. But I think we're seeing now 10 or 12 states that are moving towards legalizing, or I should say, providing ivermectin over the counter. This is in direct conflict to what the medical profession wants to have happen. They don't want to heal you. They want you to be ill so that they can sell you a drug that will treat a symptom. You never hear any doctor say, well, we're going to heal you. No, they're going to treat you. And I think this is a move, a phenomenal move in the right direction by Idaho. Jen, what do you think?
I think it's absolutely amazing because you're exactly right, Sam. It's they don't hear you. They just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and you get sicker and sicker because you develop something else and then something else because of the medication or whatever they're treating you with. And then eventually you're just, you know.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree with you 100% on that one.
Hey, Dave, do you have animals on the farm as well? Oh, is Dave gone?
In particular,
He's sleeping.
Yeah, I know. Or he's frozen, I think. I don't know which it is.
There he is. He's back.
Oh, there he is. Dave, do you have animals on the farm?
Am I frozen?
You're back a little bit. You're a little blotchy.
We do not. We do not. Neighbors have horses.
Okay. I didn't know whether you had any direct experience with that.
My connection's probably poor right now. Waiting for my son.
I have cattle all the way around me. What do you want to know, Sam?
Well, I'm just wondering how many of those people that have those animals are using the ivermectin paste. I would tend to think that everybody's.
Every single farmer that's raising any kind of livestock.
Yeah, that's what I would think, and it makes sense.
Well, Sam, it's not just
bendazole.
Right, exactly. What's that, James? Sorry.
it's not just ivermectin and well, there's several actually, but the one that I favor for the animal form is glucosamine. Makes my joints feel on fire.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that because Dr. Wallach, who I'm a proponent of, the Longevity Company. In fact, if you're looking for supplements, go to my website, click the supplements button. He has a product called Glucogel, and it is a combination of glucosamine and chondroitin. And you're absolutely right, James. When you ingest it properly and you have a quality product, the aches and pains in your joints go away. And again, that's part of this whole paradigm with the medical profession. They don't want to heal you. They want to treat you. Whereas if you go to some place like Longevity and purchase the supplements, it's like a gasoline powered, the body knows how to heal itself. A gasoline powered combustion engine, right? If you put gas in it, it's going to run fine. If you put water in it, it's not going to run. If you put gas in it with a little bit of water, it's going to run, but it's not going to run very well. So what do? You put gasoline in a combustion engine. In the human body, you have to have 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids every day. We don't get a fraction of that in our food supply. And Dave, you can speak to the microbiomes that they're putting in the soil now, right? What's happening with that?
The microbes. I mean, that's one thing with the heavy. We're talking about seeing the air and stuff like that. But they got the microbes they have natural microbes that can take that back and make the soil healthy again. I mean, you're talking across the board. It's not just from there. From the some places put human waste on, and of course, human waste has pills and all that stuff come along with it. I'm hoping to get a guy on to talk with you guys. It's going to be shed a lot more light on that. I think it's pretty important to walk through it and talk about it for sure.
Right. Captain Graybeard said lion's mane. Yes, I take lion's mane as well. Mushrooms have a significant effect. Did you want to say something, Jen?
Captain, you need to stay away from the mushrooms.
No, I was gonna. Does that help? Does that help for because I have lots of animals that walk up and down my street all the time, like Catwoman, Catman, and I just wanted to know if that does that give the same effect to like a human animal as per se an animal.
So here's how Dr. Wallach came into existence. He started as a veterinarian, right? 50 years ago. And there was an old show on television called Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it was one of the first nature shows. Well, all of their animals were dying, right? So they brought Dr. Wallach out from Minnesota and paid him to figure out why these animals were dying. So he figured out why. And in fact, he did such a good job that he wrote a book called The 900 Diseases of Exotic Animals. And it's in the Smithsonian Institute today, labeled as a national treasure. Dr. Wallach went back to school, became a naturopathic doctor, and applied the same principles that he did with the animals to human beings, and came up with what he calls 90 for life, which is 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids. So you have to have that as a baseline as a human being in order for the body to properly work. If you give the body what it needs, it knows how to heal itself. It's the same principle. If you cut your hand open, you have to sit there and say, okay, send white blood cells to the affected area. No, it knows what to do. I call that, my brother, Dr. Mike, he used to call that innate intelligence. And Alex, you've talked about it, in terms of, the meditation. In fact, you should talk a little bit about your meditation book, Alex.
One quick thing before we get into the meditation book. One of my favorite things that Dr. Wallach says, I've followed Dr. Wallach for 15, 20 years. He's like, you look at the medical industry, if you look at the veterinary industry and the medical industry, if a veterinarian is treating the herd and the herd keeps dying, he gets fired.
Right.
Is that happening in our medical system? No, it's not. Is it coming?
I agree.
In line with your body just knowing what to do. Yes, I did write a book. It's available on Amazon. Easy Road to a Peaceful Mind, a beginner guide to meditation. When you can master just being still and allowing your body to do what it already knows how to do, which is regulate the hormones in your body, regulate the fight or flight response in your body, it changes everything. So take some time, be still, be present, radical presence. And even if it's just 5 minutes in the morning with your coffee on the back porch, listening to birds, smelling the coffee, just give yourself that 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes a day, to just be still and be present without the echo chamber of left, right, blue, green, purple, red, right, wrong, up, down, left, right. Just be still and be present.
Right. Thank you for doing it. They can find that on Amazon.
Amazon is published. The Easy Road to a Peaceful Mind, a beginner's guide to meditation.
Thanks, Alex. Thank you. I think it's really important.
And Sam, to talk about a little bit about parasites too on that too. We give our cats and dogs medicine for parasites. We give our horses, we give our cows. How are we any different?
Right.
In the big scheme of things.
100%, I agree.
And that's an absolute concern. Why aren't our doctors, taking care of that?
Right. Exactly. Virgo 47 said we need to ground to use linen, cotton, and wool fabrics. I think there's a lot of truth to that. What we put next to our body. What's the largest organ in the human body? Most people say exactly. That's exactly right. People think, oh, it's the liver. It's not. It's the skin. So anything that we're exposing the skin to is going to be assimilated at some level into the human body. And I think that's something that's really important for people to understand. 6U said, I remember Jim bringing animals to Johnny Carson for Mutual of Omaha. Yeah, I do too. Oh gosh, we're dating ourselves, 6U. We better be careful there.
Johnny Carson was the greatest night show host in the history of night show.
Oh, by far. Donna,
100% on that one.
yeah, Donna Fox, subscriber, said, I agree, Alex. Good. A lot of us agree with Alex, that's for sure. Pauline said, Sam, where did you say the glucosamine and chondroitin? So, Paula, if you go to samshalhoub.com, click on the supplements button, it'll take you to a website. You can send me a message if you have specific questions, and I can answer them for you. All right, so let's move over to the article from Breitbart. The DOJ said that the judge cannot order deported illegal migrant to be returned to the U.S. Finally, some sanity where these judges think that they can overrule the executive branch of the United States government. Alex, let them have it.
Supreme Court said, no, you don't.
Exactly. Jen, what are your thoughts?
You're out of here.
Exactly.
It won't be the last time they do it, but all they're doing is trying to throw speed bumps in the way.
Right.
So what it's doing is exposing. It's exposing the treason that's been going on in this country for a very long time. And if you start looking at these judges and connecting the dots like Data Republican has given us the tools to do, their wives, their nephews, their cousins, their uncles, their sisters, their brothers, their children are board representatives on the NGOs that have been receiving the USAID funds. If they just read my book, they'd all be okay.
There you go. Good point. Jen?
I think Alex needs to send me one of those books.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll send you the link to Amazon.
Yeah. Hey, he didn't even send me one. I had to buy it, so I don't want to hear it. But I will say this, it was well worth the price. And I've read it multiple times and have had discussions with Alex offline about it. And also, Alex, you have some kind of a website where if people wanted to interact with you, they could, right?
AlexRaymer.life.
Yeah. I would highly recommend everyone get a copy of that book.
Graybeard, I'm going to buy us a book. That's it. As soon as they get off here, I'm buying 20 of them.
There you go. Captain Graybeard also said calcification of the pineal gland is the root cause of Trump hate syndrome. Well, I mean, you said it in a funny way, but the truth is the pineal gland being calcified, what calcifies the pineal gland? Fluoride? Chemicals? I mean, you're right on target. I know you phrased it as, something funny, but the reality is it's true. In a large way. All right, so Jason Kenner said, batter up.
One of the key things that we don't want to overlook about this upholding of the judges, they voted 5-4. There's 3 liberal judges on the Supreme Court. One Republican decided to go over to the other side, and that was Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah, very good point, James. Very good point. Which brings
to keep an eye on.
Right. Which brings us to the next subject. Is this one really kind of shocked me? It was President Trump said he's going to veto a bill but it was introduced by Maria Cantwell, a Democrat, and Chuck Grassley, a Republican, that would limit the president's authority to unilaterally impose tariffs, according to a White House statement seen by Axios. Now, I've always been, for the most part, a fan of Grassley. For him to come out against this, I was shocked by that. I mean, Adam, what do you think? What do you make of it?
This is just showing, really, all of a sudden, here it is. Now you've got a president that's actually flexing the full breadth of the executive branch in the right way. And now Congress all of a sudden they want to do something. They didn't want to do anything before. Over the last 4 years, they just had stagnant doing nothing. Now you've got it here where it's like, oh, wait, we've got to rein in Trump. No, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. And this is really showing the spotlight both on Congress and on the judges, because if they're not doing their job like they're supposed to, then they no longer have the protection of their office.
Right.
And that's what we're seeing.
Right. Alex?
Well, the more you mow the grass, the easier it is to see them snakes.
That's very
That's
true.
right, Alex.
That's very true. James, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm on board with that statement altogether. That's great.
Well, the statement when we were kids, your ass is grass and I'm the lawnmower.
not to put too fine a point on it.
Trump is coming to town to cut your grass.
Right. PJ Party.
He's already taking out the trash, so
He works at McDonald's. What else does the man not do?
Right, exactly. PJ Party, Peggy said, Amy, mistletoe given by injection is good for you with cancer, also red light therapy and hyperbaric chambers. Yeah, I would agree. I think those are some very good points. Thanks, Peggy. Christy B, again, agreeing with Alex. Boy, Alex is just on a roll today with the viewers. I'm glad to see it. So, yeah, I know the Punisher, exactly. He's got to be wearing the Punisher shirt today. All right, let's see. So, lastly today, this is a very interesting, and I'm not sure what to make of it. I want to get each one of yours opinion on this, but President Trump is expected to have a military parade in the streets of in the streets of Washington, something he's wanted to do since his first term in office. Now, James, you're our military expert. What do you think what's he communicating here?
Well, I think he wants to celebrate, and this is strictly just an opinion. I think he wants to show that, not only the Democrats can go showboat. I mean, we're going to showboat some successes here. One of the things that concern me about that is anytime he's out in the open, and I don't see him going behind any type of protective device, but that concerns me. He's probably going to cover some ground. It's going to be more than a mile of travel. Don't know if he's going to stop and speak. And it's just another opportunity for the opposition to maybe take another poke at it. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. Alex, what do you think?
Speaking of, I saw a deal where one of the people who attempted the Butler scenario had photos of Letitia James on his phone.
I thought she had photos of him on her phone.
Maybe that was it. Maybe that was it.
Yeah, that's even more suspicious. I know. Jen, what do you make of this whole military parade thing?
I don't know. It's like I'm in between. I feel like it's something that he wanted to do in the first time he was in as president, and now I just feel like after there were 2 attempts, it's just I don't know. I feel like he's like just a big red dot that, like his car, that beautiful Tesla, is that what it's called? A red Tesla?
Yeah.
Is that what it has?
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my God, no, just stay home, Donald.
I know.
Gosh darn it.
Exactly.
Oh my God. That would start a world war right then and there. If something happened to that man, that's all I know.
It's like this. I'm 51 years old. I have a 6-pack. I'm gonna take my shirt off when I'm at the pool.
Please don't.
So, shush. So, Trump wants
We'll definitely see the Punisher.
Trump wants to take his shirt off at the pool. He wants to flex a little. He wants to. I mean, RFK Jr. is doing push-ups at the park. That dude's in shape. Like, why wouldn't you want to show people that you're in shape?
Yeah.
And
I get it.
that parade is showing the world, damn, that boy's got some guns.
Yeah.
He's gonna do what he wants. He showed the world. He's been showing the world that he's got his guns. But like us people and the Americans, we love him. He's like the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
And we don't want to lose him. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't know.
I get it.
Military parade doesn't equal Trump standing in the middle of the crowd.
I get it.
Yeah.
Look, I live in Pennsylvania. I was supposed to be at that, what do you call it? The
Butler?
Butler.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be there right behind him.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I would have been the one. The people would have been like, thank God, get this girl the hell out.
Adam, what are your thoughts on the military parade?
I think you look at it from a couple of standpoints. Number one, it's a victory lap.
showing the operation is over. I think there was one of our watchers that pointed that out. Number 2, it shows unification. 3, it's just a very subtle, silent show of strength. There's no reason why we shouldn't do that. We did it. We did it under Reagan, and we've had such a very strong show of what our military is, what it can do, and it's best not to mess with us. That's really what it comes down to.
Right.
Walk with a big stick and very softly.
Right. Dave, what are your thoughts? Oh, did we lose Dave? Looks like we might have. All right. Well, Dana Mackey said that operation is over parade. Interesting perspective on that. 6U said $1 billion parade. Never mind. That was a troll. Backing up a couple stories, Amy Ruger said, my dad uses it with all of our animals. We both use horse paste. Yeah, well, that's a smart move in my opinion. All right, everybody. So we've gone through the daily dispatch. It looks like it's time to wrap it up. We've been on here well over an hour. So we're going to go to final thoughts. And Adam, why don't you lead us off today?
Again, I've never ceased to be amazed. It's just providing more and more and more, restoring the freedom, restoring the fact that we all have the choice to agree to disagree. And the fact that we have enough trolls on here apparently got some attention. And I say, bring it on, because all it's going to do is drive our algorithm up even further. So, again, make sure you make the most of every day with your family. And there we are.
There you go. Jen?
Haters, keep on hating, because all you're doing is growing everybody. So come on. That's all I got to say. God bless you. Love one another. Be respectful and treat your neighbor kindly.
Excellent. James?
As far as money goes, we didn't cover this. XRP is poised to do something called become a gratis vendor and donate XRP to the government, therefore circumventing following the standards of procurement procedures. That's the first thing.
I'm still digging into that one, sir.
It's a good one.
I wouldn't buy that as truth just yet.
The second thing that I'd like to bring up is President Trump signed an executive order banning Sharia law in the United States of America. And if you've been following anything about Sharia law, there's been about 200 acres north of Dallas, Texas, that they're trying to make it their own city. So, and have Sharia law there. So that's a big thing. That's a big thing that hits me, in the heart, because that's where I came out of in the military, was Texas.
Yeah.
Lastly, I guess, kind of echoing what everybody else has said, just be patient, be cool, and yeah, thanks for the eyebrows. That's just, you guys are so fucking cold.
It's all in love, James.
Look at Donald Trump's eyebrows are better than those. What the hell is going on?
Alex?
God bless America.
Quite frankly, just look at that big, beautiful building next to me. One of the greatest buildings ever, right next to those beautiful eyebrows. We love them. They're great. They're just fantastic. Look, everybody, I say it many times on the show. Just take some time for yourself. Step back from these topics and take a deep breath. It's springtime here in the States. Get outside. Get your feet in the dirt, in the earth, on the grass, and just take a deep breath. I think that the trajectory that we are on, though it may be a difficult road, nothing worth having is easy, right? And we're going to have to go through a few trials and tribulations to get to the other side. But I believe firmly that, barring any surprises from the scared dogs lashing out, we're headed in the right direction, and everything's going to be okay.
I would agree. 100% I agree. We have it was DNB06 said essentially, God bless everybody. God bless the Patriots. God bless President Trump, and God bless America. And I don't think I could have put it any better than all of you have done on the screen and all of you at home. So I just want to say thank you. This wouldn't be possible without all of you. We're so grateful that we get to have these roundtables and talk and share ideas and build one another up, because I think that's what's really important. Like Jen said, love, acceptance, being kind. Yeah, exactly. A heart. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. We will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, which is Wednesday. And in the meantime, I hope everyone on the screen and everyone at home has a